Did you, as Sean Spicer says, walk in and out of NSC meetings quite frequently?
No, not at all. I sat in on some principals committee meetings during the period when they were reviewing the Afghanistan policy, because the president was trying to make a weighty decision about where he wanted to go on strategy in Afghanistan. And we knew that it was going to be one that was going to bear a lot of explanation and that was going to be very important to the American people. So Robert Gibbs, our press secretary, and I sat in as observers on those sessions so we could get a sense of how the decision came about and what the process was going into it. And never did we speak in those meetings. We were purely observers. What Steve Bannon is doing is completely different. He is going to be a principal at the table, and what is clear is he's emerging as one of the principal national security and foreign policy advisors to the president. I would never have described myself that way when I was senior advisor to the president. My portfolios were politics and communications. This really is new ground that they're charting, and using me as a kind of example or a precedent is way off the mark.
Yeah, I think I misspoke. I think I said to Pamela that you were there about bin Laden meetings. As you said, it was Afghanistan meetings. I appreciate the clarification. The other thing that Spicer was saying today is that the policy regarding the Director of National Intelligence and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that their attendance at some meetings will be optional, that it was the same policy under President Obama. Is he correct on that count?
Well, I got to tell you, I cannot imagine meetings, principals meetings, where you don't want to hear from the Director of National Intelligence as you're making decisions about the national security of the country, or have the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff who's going to execute on orders that the Commander-in-Chief gives. It just seems illogical to me that you would want to exclude them from any meeting, or that they would not be permanent members of this group. The other thing, Pamela was, I think, charitable in describing Breitbart as a conservative-leaning news outlet. It is the voice of the alt-right movement. It is the voice, not just here, but now in Europe, of the right-wing populist, xenophobic, anti-trade, anti-immigration movement. So it is consequential that the person who helped lead that organization is now one of the, or maybe the principal foreign policy advisor, national security advisor to the President of the United States.